Good evening, everybody. It's 7 o'clock and we're here. And I am praying that I have done all the clearing so that we don't freeze and stop. Even my little talk I did on Sunday, at the very end, it had frozen. And that was my fault because I didn't clear before I started, thinking 5 to 6, 7 minutes, we should be fine. Mistake. Apologize for that. I'm just going to say that in the last little while, when I've gone to speak about something, I've picked up this God box cards and said, and just ran my fingers, say, is there anything there that will relate to what I'm going to talk about? And today, guess what? The purpose of prayer is not to convince or persuade God or to change God's mind. It is to change our mind. And that's by Ernest Holmes, who I studied for many years. But I find that really interesting because I want to talk about forgiveness, and the forgiveness card comes up. I want to talk about mind. The mind card comes up. I've been having a great fun with that. Anyway, I've already got some names on my list. People who email me early. And so today, actually, I have 007 has sent me two. Luckily, I read the mail because I had a phone call just before I began to get ready. In fact, I had to cut the phone call off, but some young man had phoned because he was upset about something and talked for quite a while. But anyway, I mustn't chat too long because there's lots to do. So 007's father, who was sick with kidney failure. So he gave me the numbers 5, 8, and 13. Oh, I meant to say, Marion says good evening and blessings to all. And just I keep forgetting to say, she sits and works the Tibetan bowl for me at her place, which is about 25 minutes away. And that gives me, it keeps, because it, resonates, I can, it helps my energy levels when we have one of those long nights. Okay, father, or 7. 5, 8, and 13 you gave me. So the 5's the Hierophant, so we need more knowledge. And from what you wrote, I would say that is true. You need more knowledge here. But also, and this is where I want to sort of really work on, is he needs some inner strength, his inner philosophy. Because I don't know about the 13. Because no wonder you're upset about it, because it is transition time. It is leaving the old and moving into the new. And so what we're going to do here in the mental mind treatment is this. I didn't have his first name, so I'm just going to say 07's father. I know there is a power that aids us, supports us, and loves us. And therefore, I speak my word for 07's father in India. I know that inside his heart, he knows what is needed for himself. The knowledge is there, available. And it's like always with knowledge. If we refuse to listen or understand it, guess what? We don't get it. But he has the ability to gather more strength and more awareness, because there is transition. There is a transition here, which could be transitioning away from the body, I will admit, or transitioning into a better health situation. But because I'm speaking to 07 regarding his father, this may be a case of you just supporting him in his transition, because to me, it can flip either way. But it feels like he's got the strength, and everything is leading to his higher power, like the other side. So we've got to recognize that, and we got to give sense of love and support in that transition journey, not through fear, but to know that a lot of the issues he's been suffering from will be relieved. And that is the main thing. So I give thanks in the knowing of this as I speak my word for our seven's Father. Take a breath. And now for our seven with his eyes. I've got 6, 8, and 12. I know there is one power that is available to each and every one of us when we need transition, change, and love. There is a sense of confusion sometimes, and with eyes, as I've spoken many times, very often the eyes are not looking from the present, but looking from a time when things were not good, or they feel like they don't want to see. Because it's a lot of confusion. And you've got 6 here, the lovers, which is confusion. But you also have 8 that you gave your father. But the way I draw, and how I draw the 8, I pay attention to it. It's like there is some conflict on the spiritual side of things. You know where you're at in the physical form of your eyes, but the spiritual element. And that is to be open to see clearly, at least on that level, and accept that you have the ability to see, to know, and to be at one. I give thanks in knowing that our 007 is able to clarify for himself with ease and grace what is. And so he can decide within himself by accepting what the realities are. He can accept that and move forward with ease. I give thanks with love and light as we release this. I also had a long text by Kayla, and the bottom line was, and I see Kayla is on here too, love, joy, appreciation, and blessings to all. And so what I've got here for her, because she knows what she wrote, I chose 22, which is the Fool, moving forward with faith and belief. 15, the Devil, which is when the emotions get in the way. And 3, the Empress, which is remembering the love source. So we've got a little internal conflict going on here. So she wants energy, focus to continue sorting and organizing her world and releasing her paper stuff. Oh, I call it stuff. Sorry, Kayla. So let's see. I know there is one power and one essence of love in this world, and that we have choices about how we deal, handle, and work with that love source. I also know, as I speak my word for Kayla, that through her many, many years of study, that there is an understanding of faith and love and everything, but we're human. In our humanness, we get upset by things that overwhelm us. We get upset by all the things that are going on. And even though we can say, oh yeah, I understand, I know, I trust, everything is in its right place, we actually get overwhelmed and we get feeling energy loss, like it's like a leakage. It's like a sieve, sieve, we put the water runs out. So our energy gets low. So what we want is to create an energy that sustains us, that we're able to sustain where we're at and where we're going and who we are and what's happening. I give thanks in knowing that Kayla, by taking a breath, coming back in the body, and just knowing that all is well, not thinking about outcomes, not thinking of what may be or may not be, but just the ease of where, what, and whom. It will all be at one because of love and because of light and because of understanding. And I give thanks in this, knowing that that's true. And at one. And so it is. Amen. Okay, Lynette has written anxiety 9, 10, and 13. Those three numbers says the answer lies within you, and as long as you're the center and work with what's going on, you will be into a new vibration. You'll move yourself into that new vibration and new awareness. It's a matter of recognizing the power is within you and not giving to the mind, which always the mind wants to, work away. So let's have a look what comes up in treatment. I know there is one power and one essence. I also know that the love force is there for each one of us as we breathe it in and make it a part of us. And that when our minds begin to go in this direction and that direction, and what about this and what about that, which is what anxiety is, it's from a mental, is that we come into that center place of our heart. We come into that awareness of who we are, and we begin to put that love and that essence of being just out. We imagine it moving out, quietening, so that we can move into I'll leave it as a better place. I was going to say, and move into a new understanding, but yeah, it's better. It's a better way. My subconscious said better, so we'll go with that. Because when we evolve from this level to that level, because that's what we do, we evolve and we move forward. And so I give thanks in the knowing that Lynette is ready to centralize on her main priorities that bring peace, love, and understanding. I just also want to take a moment here because in the last few weeks, we've looked at eyes for 07 and Lynette, and there was another person that was, I think, was for ears. What I did, I think that was 2 weeks ago, I stopped and had a look at where my eyes first started not working, and I found the answer to that. So we'll see what happens with my eyes next time I go get them tested, because I found the answer to that one. There were others as well, but I didn't wear glasses, and then I needed them. And so I had to look at what had happened in my life that I needed to wear glasses. Now, I have to wear them for reading and working and things like that. But still, I was fine. And then I wasn't fine. And then I found out why that was. So what I said to you, what was given to me, was the answer. And that was the answer. Look at what comes before. Look at what you didn't want to see, or you couldn't make sense of it. Okay, let's move on. Ashika, hi dear. Oops, can't even spell today. Okay, what do we say here? You can choose the numbers. Thank you. Treatment for healing your lower back. So we're still on. It's funny because I must have been empathizing somewhere on the ethers with you, because my back was really sore today. It's not sore now. Okay, I can pick sore back for Keisha. I want to put 16, 12, and again I'm going to go 3. 16 is what we call the tower, which is the unexpected. See, anything that comes into us that's unexpected, which I think is what's happening here, we feel responsible for it. But there's many things that come in. People say things, situations happen, etc., that we are not really responsible for them. But what we are responsible for is how we react. And so the interesting thing here is with the back is acceptance from 12. And then loving your back. Give it kindness. Find a nice cream with smell or whatever. And I know it's hard to do with me. I can't do it very well with my elbows, but you're younger and you've got more flexibility than me at the moment. So you can do that. But it's like, don't take everything on. If you have any sense that you feel like you're responsible for everything, like, what have I done? I should have done better. Like the mental beat up translates right into the back in your system. So again, we go talk about mental clarity. I think for you is not to see everything as a disaster. It's just a situation, and you can decide how you want to handle this rather than taking it internally, rather than taking it on. I give thanks in the knowing of this for Akeisha as she moves forward in strength and in vitality, in the wholeness of her life, where it's fun. And I hear lots of laughter if you just relax. Make sure you laugh at least once, if not 10 times every day. Get that energy moving. Thank you, Karen M. I thought of you because I've taken 2 shots of the sunsets here, and I haven't sent them to you. And I was thinking of today that I needed to send those to you. What have we got here, dear? 22, Fool, Hermit, and Empress. Can we be any better than that? Okay. I know there is one power, and I know there is one essence of being. And one of the major things of growth is to begin to have faith. Faith in ourselves, safe in the God force or the love force or whatever you want to call it. Excuse me a sec. Because when we have faith, we can step out fearlessly. We can become aware of how life in lots of ways is an illusion, and we buy it. You know what I mean? We believe it when it's not real. Mind you, I know you live high up. You don't step off the, you don't step into nothing, but you get what I mean there. Because the answer always lies within us. What are we willing to take on? What are we willing to work with? What are we willing to understand? And to know the answer always lies inside. But I have found, this is my personal voice on this, we don't like a lot of our own answers. And when we don't like our own answers, that's when things get rough. But it says here, remember you are loved no matter what. It's what I talk about, how I discovered the love force. And then sometimes I'm just down in my, what I call my little brain here. But if I every day remember that love force and feel it within me, I have the faith to move forward. I have the faith to listen to what I think and know, even if it's strange sometimes. I give thanks in knowing that Karen M is totally working with her God sense of being and is willing to step out and say, this is me. And I give thanks for that by saying, and so it is. Okay. Is that me that did that? Yeah, it was. Karen Lee. Hello, my dear. Okay, what have I got here? Yeah, I'm being pretty good. I'd like a treatment for continued well-being and peacefulness. So we'll say, I'm just going to put well-being and peacefulness. But look at the numbers you picked. That's what main thing. 3, 17, 21. 3, 17, and 21. I just decide, I love the way how the more people do this, how their numbers beginning to shift and change. Music to my ears. Okay. 3 is the Empress. So look at how many 3s have we got tonight. That's the 4th one, I think. Maybe there's more. Yeah. No, a 5th one. So 3, that's the love force. That's the Empress. That's the fullness of life. And 17 is the star, balancing the world. And then 21 again is the world balance. So what we've got here is by being your loving self and balancing you in the world, not overdoing the energy in places where maybe you don't have to, is that you can live a very balanced, aware life. Okay. I know there is one power, and I know as I speak my word for Karen Lee as she moves forward, is that coming into terms with being part of all there is, of understanding that love force that is there within her and can move it in because it's around, it's there. It is not something that sits way up here and hard to get it, it's everywhere. So it's a matter of opening the door and allowing it in. And then being aware that you watch your energy so you don't give away everything, that you are important and therefore you need to balance your energy. I'm not saying not to do deeds and goodness. I'm just saying keep some for yourself because you've got to be strong. And then in 21, when we have the world with balance, it's like everything coming together. So in treatment, it will look like this. I know there is one power and one essence, and I know as I speak my word for Karen Lee, that there is a new sense of belonging, a new sense of being, and the realization, the importance of being balanced within so the world can be balanced without. That is the big key here. And it feels peaceful. It's very peaceful. I give thanks in the knowing of this, of the knowing of the transition, the acceptance, the joy, and the love that is there. And I release this thought with love and delight by saying, and so it is. Okay, how are we doing here? Karen B, hi. Okay, oh, by the way, good evening, Norma. Love, blessings to everyone. Do you have any numbers for me, Karen B? Not at this point. By the way, I got your note. I just was looking at it. Yeah, I think I answered a little while ago. And excuse me, my throat. I'm trying to clear the throat. And so, yeah, hang on, I think I'm in the wrong place. I'll get there. When I touch this thing, it goes, oh, is it carrying? Now I'm here. So I just wanted you to know it looks great. It looks really great. So you're doing a good job on that. SO7 says, hello, Norma. I made it. Right. And I've done yours, so you can listen to it when we're done, and it's all good. Maggie G. Hello. Just a minute. I got to write this down. Good evening, Norma. Thank you for your tonight. The messages for Lynette. Oh, resonates, blessing. And that's what happens. We're not all alone and different. We all struggle with very similar things. And the key here is to recognize that and apply when you hear someone else and goes, oh, that relates to me too, is to recognize, usually we talk about shift of mind or a different relationship with how you deal with your life. And so it all works. So Maggie G, I'm presuming you haven't sold your apartment yet. Okay, I was thinking about that this week for some reason too. Anyway, Kayla says, thank you for your reflection and insights. Many blessings. Akeisha says, yeah, everything was improving really well. This setback was very unexpected, but know that I will have to take responsibility of it and work through it instead of just crying over it. I want to congratulate you, Akeisha, because you're accepting self-responsibility. And in accepting self-responsibility, life begins to change and grow in the way that you want. You can see already when your back gets really, really sore, take a look at what are you not accepting and letting go. You know, people who listen to me a lot on this show, one of the things I'm often saying is acceptance. Accept what is, because then you're free to make a decision and an action. But when we don't accept things as they are, we don't make the decision. We just stuck because we want it different. And we always wanted difference, always wanted different. But we've got to take responsibility. And Karen Marcus says, thanks so much. And Akeisha says something else. But for sure, lots of mental beat ups. It starts improving, and then I make a mistake and sets it off sometimes so that I feel really bad about it. Well, don't beat yourself up twice. Once is enough. That's where you've got a self-love come in. Self-love comes in, and you become your cheering section through those hard times when things get really not where you want them to be. We all mess up. Hey, I've messed up lots in my life, for sure. We respond emotionally. Then we worry about it. And so we just attract more stuff to deal with. So it's much easier to look at head on and deal with it. And you're doing that. And I want to give credit for that. I want you to know that. It was a very nice, these were nice numbers in here. Well, 16, something happens, yeah. But the acceptance and the love is so important of self. Be kind. When things are tough, be kinder than you usually are. That's what I find works. Yeah, food. Chocolate. Nothing like chocolate. Okay, Mass Evans, thank you very much, Norma. I really want my father to recover, but I'll accept whatever happens with love. Yes, that's really going to be your answer here, because of the numbers, and I think you know that. But it's like, see him no matter what, bathed in the light, bathed in the awareness, and know you can't change what is because he's in control of that. But you can send love to him, a sense of well-being and everything else. So I want your father to recover too, but does he? That's what we don't know. And that's why he might be just tired of being sick and not getting what he needs to get. Blessings on that. Karen Lee says, thank you. You always lighten my day. I'm so glad. Namaste. Leroy, hi. Hello, a treatment for self-love and trusting. Remember my homework. Yeah, sorry. Hang on. I got to catch up with myself. My throat would settle down. Treatment for self-love. Okay, let's have a look. And trusting. Yeah, that's the big one, isn't it? To trust ourselves. Remembering my homework. I'm feeling a little floaty. 14. No, don't overdo it. Be kind to yourself. That's one of the things. Self-love is about being kind, being aware, and accepting yourself as you are. It's like a journey. It's a journey. And today you can feel everything's clicking, and tomorrow everything is not. Don't beat yourself up. So thanks for the numbers. 14 is temperance, balancing. 16, here we go again. That's the tower. And 18 is the moon, which is emotional. So that's exactly almost what you've written. That's needed. With temperance is really important, because we have situations in our life, and how do we balance them? Different aspects. Do we put our energy in this or that? And the key is to maintain a balance. 14 is a little bit different than the star, where you're kneeling right on the emotional back, but it's dealing with the emotional element of things. The tower, of course, is unexpected situations coming in, and how do we handle that? 18 is how do we handle our emotion? How do we, all our fear and anxiety? What if we don't do it right? What if, whatever. Doesn't matter. Self-love and trusting is it. Accepting. Actually, the word I would put on top of this, Leroy, is acceptance. You're on a journey. And sometimes in journeys, we run into aspects of ourselves that upset us to some degree. And it is, again, knowing that you're loved and you can feel the universal love force makes such a huge difference. And for each one of you here that doesn't actually feel that force that I talk about, when I get stressed out, I get upset over things because I'm human, but I can just sit, and when I go to bed at night, just bring that love force into myself. It's just I use color for years, but it's not the color, it's the energy in the color that I feel. The love, being open to the love. So, Leroy, I know there is one power in one essence, and this love force, as I call it, is everywhere and is there for everybody. It's a matter of accepting it and bringing it in and trusting that it's real when you feel it. It is the knowing that no matter what happens in the world, as Keisha's finding out, it's like we don't have to make it worse by being emotional about it because we're not perfect. We are perfect. We are made in the image, but we're humans and we have emotions. We have minds. And as some of you already know, I talk about the balancing of the mind and the feelings and the emotions and how to balance those, because our mind can go in there and go, oh, and just break everything down and make us crazy. And our emotions are saying, well, what are we supposed to do about this? And so there's no balance. To balance one, the mind or the emotion, is not the way it's to work for ease and inner peace. If you're seeking inner peace, and most of us, I believe, are, it's about bringing those two aspects, the mind and the emotion, into balance. So we're not, how do I want to put this? Neither one is in control. Okay? Neither one. Okay. I know there is one power and one essence, and I know I speak my word for Leroy. And as I speak my word for Leroy, I know he has the understanding and the acceptance of himself. That no matter what occurs on the outside, with breath, with love, he can handle the feeling of uncertainty, non-trusting, and almost being scared of what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next is quiet, peaceful, and loving self and trusting self to a level that you've never experienced. So it brings joy, understanding, awareness, because you are at one with all there is. And you're willing to work for it, you're willing to do it. And if you get upset, you're upset. Okay, breathe, rebalance, go ahead to the next thing. And as I release this thought, I say, and so it is. Amen. Okay, Karen B says, my numbers are exactly the same from Karen Lee. Bob, but you're two different people. Hang on, I'm going to go back up to Karen Lee's then. Hang on. I mean, the message can be utilized, but we're all different. Where are you, Karen? Karen Lee, here she is. What's her numbers? 3, 17, 21. Okay. So that's Karen B there, 3, 17, and 21. Nice numbers. Nice numbers. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and do a treatment for you. All right. And I got to go find you again. I'm having fun today. No, it's too high. Got to be down here. The erase Karen B. Okay. Here we are here. I know there is one power and one essence. And I know as I speak my word for Karen, that the love that is with you, that is inside of you, comes out with kindness, with joy, and with love. And that you are now rebalancing yourself in such a way that these, because we've talked about hands before, and thank you for the picture, is that you're letting go those judgments that you have had about not being good enough or doing it right. Very often, we get concerned because we didn't do things right. I know that one really well. And we beat ourselves up because we weren't perfect. But sometimes not doing it right is actually showing us that's not the way to do it, because we run into it in the world out there. We've got two ways of looking. We have our inner eye, yes, but our eyes look out and see things. I just am so happy that you got those numbers, because they're lovely numbers to have, especially on the healing journey. So I'm going to speak my word for Karen B. I know that the power, the love, the essence that we call the divine is with us all. I also know, as I speak my word for Karen B, that the love force within her shows and gets represented into her life. And now it is time for her to take that back into her and to be that for herself and for her awareness and her joy and her life. I give thanks in the knowing in this, of the steps of growth, the steps of beingness, as she moves forward with love and light. And I'm so glad you put in that you had the same numbers. But notice how the numbers can also be a little different. And I give thanks as I release this thought, knowing that it is done. Leroy says, I enjoy the people texting you on here. Well, I do too. I would be not doing this. And I do enjoy this as a highlight of my week, actually. TS, hi, Norma. Self-love and more optimism. I have my new glasses on, and I'm peering crazy here tonight. 5, 13, and 18. Karen, while I'm looking at this, TS, yeah. Karen says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Okay, let's see what we got here. 5 is the Hierophant, and that always means a little bit more knowledge. 13, the death means transition into more understanding. 18 is just straight emotion. I'm going to say emotion. It's a little bit more than that, but we'll figure that out. So let's have a look here. What do we got? It would say there is a little bit more knowledge needed for sure with your number 5, and that you're in the need is to let go the past. And in letting go the past, because 13 is death, which is a rebirth, but you're stuck emotionally. And that's why you need the Hierophant, the knowledge, so you can make the transition from the past emotional where you're stuck, what's holding. And, very often there's so many things on the emotional level we can begin to feel. We begin to beat ourselves up. We feel bad. We want to be better, but we're not. And it ties us in a knot. And 18 is very deceptive, because very often we will believe we are right. It's one of those deceptive symbols. We will think that what we're doing is right, that we are right, and it's perfect, but it's actually based on emotionality. And as I said earlier today, if you were on already, is that the balance between the mental and the emotional, and you can do it this way or that way, whichever, but the mental sits on top. So it kind of has, that top part, and their emotions are kind of down in here in the body more, we feel. But what I see here is that you just need a little bit more knowledge. It's the Hierophant. I'm the Hierophant in this. I'm the teacher. I'm the one that dispenses the knowledge, hopefully effectively for my people. I've done a lot of teaching over the years, and taken on a lot of people and aided them through all sorts of things. Because we are all in transition. I don't mean transition to death. but we're in transition of growth. Do you think I'm perfect all the time? I'm not. I forget to do things. So when I did my very short new program on Sunday, we froze right as I was ending. Like, I didn't do what I was supposed to do before because I thought, I've got 8 minutes for sure, no problem. No, didn't have it. Keeping my fingers crossed tonight because I did what I had to do. Now, Mr. TS. Okay, let's do the treatment. I know there is one power in one essence, and I know as I speak my word for TS that knowledge is there. I feel that in the knowledge you need to be careful, and I shouldn't really say that, but I will, of where you're getting your knowledge. Is it solid? Is it about love? Is it about how the universe works? As the teacher, as the person to get the knowledge from, are they grounded? Do they know what they're teaching? Because you're ready to make a beautiful, beautiful growth and patterning. You're ready, but all this emotionality, and if there's blame, if there is a put down, if there is situations you're not forgiving yourself for, those are part of that 18. Forgiveness. I spoke about that last Sunday. Not this last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. Self-forgiveness when we screw up. You don't have to go and tell anybody. You don't have to go and confess whatever, because some religions say that's what you need to do. You just need to understand it and then forgive yourself. I have spoken often for months, me saying I forgave myself for anything and everything throughout time for 6 months in order to get clearer. And I still have to do that because I mess up. Unfortunately, I have a mouth that runs away with me sometimes, and I say things without thinking. And that means I have to forgive myself for that. I think here is that you need to understand forgiveness because of this number 13. You need to take the knowledge that you have and make sure it's applicable to you. And make sure that as you move through in the direction of where you're heading, is that you can deal with the feelings and understand the feelings where they come from. But and I give thanks in the knowing of this. I give thanks as we move into an understanding that you are supported and loved, and to know that I'd like to see you back again and give us some numbers and give us some sense of direction, because you will have more optimism because you'll be clearer. But and it's nice to come once and check it out, but please come several weeks. I'm a great believer in doing things 3 times. Check us out for 3 weeks. See how it will change. Each time, just give the number, and I will be as honest I possibly can as I look and tune in. But I also know, as I give treatment, how powerful it can be and how it can change. And many people that are on here can tell you that. And maybe they will. Maybe they'll put it down. Anyway, I give thanks that you are here, giving me numbers and letting me see into your strengths, your willingness to know and understand, and the willingness to let go, or you would never, ever have come in. Bless you. Bless you. And thank you. And so we just move on. Marion says, hang on, what's Marion saying here? Not to cause an issue, but I can relate with Karen Lee and Karen B, and those were numbers I wrote down earlier. There you go. Well, you guys have been on this path with me for a long time. So that's what we can be seeing as a collective mind of drawing strength. Matthew 7 says, listening to you brings peace to my heart. Thank you very much. Well, you guys make my week, actually. sometimes I wonder why I do the other things, and because I get so much out of this and I really get to talk to you. And but anyway, life is as it is, and I am trying to figure out a way that everything fits in easily. And so I think we got everybody. Yeah, I think we got everybody. I'll just give a general little treatment to close us off. Okay. Knowing there is one power and one love source that is there for each and every one of us if we allow it to come in. I give thanks in knowing that each one of you on here today knows that that source is available and that they can move into the feeling of being cherished, understood, supportive, and loved at any time. The key of self-forgiveness is big as we transition, as we live this life in a human body. The key of forgiveness, the key of balancing our worlds, and always having love in our hearts for ourselves as well as others, through kindness, through acceptance of people as they are. Let judgment disappear. Be not judging. Do not judge others. Do not judge yourself. Just be who you are, a radiant flower on this planet Earth, distributing your beauty, your kindness, and your lovingness just by being alive. I give thanks in knowing this for each one of us that is here tonight by saying, and so it is. Bye for now. I'll be back next Monday, but I'll also be back Wednesday morning, and I'll be maybe back Sunday. We'll see what's going to happen. Lots of fun in my life. Bye now.